I'd like to start out this presentation by saying that I am not racist, and I don't consider myself to be. I love Mexicans. I've participated in Sub for Santa helping out illegal immigrants. I think we need to show more kindness and compassion in America and Europe to refugees and immigrants. I've lived in the Middle East, and I love both Muslims and Jews. I have friends who are Asian, Black, Polynesian, and Native American, and I despise people like Donald Trump and the KKK who are openly racist. That being said, a bit of a debate has surfaced in recent months when on December 20th, 2015, it was confirmed that a black actress would be portraying Hermione Granger in the upcoming play, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. JK Rowling came out with a surprise tweet that she loved the idea of a black Hermione Granger. After the tweet, fans had mixed reactions to the news. Some thought it was cute or nice or that it represented equal rights, while others were a bit annoyed that it didn't stay true to the canon. Rowling responded to these comments by saying that she had never specified whether Hermione was white or not, and a lot of cries of racism went around social media against those who felt Hermione had always been white. But let's take a look at that and see if Rowling's claim really holds up under scrutiny, because it seems that Miss Rowling isn't being entirely honest with herself or her fans when she claims that she never specified Hermione's race. Either that, or she is very unfamiliar with the books that she herself wrote. First, all the chapter sketches that depict Hermione show her as someone who is white. JK Rowling hired artists to help her draw the chapter sketches, and she approved each of them. The chapters that show Hermione include The Dementor's Kiss from Book 3, The House Elf Liberation Front from Book 4, The Woes of Mrs. Weasley from Book 5, OWLs from Book 5, Fight and Flight from Book 5, Felix Felicis from Book 6, The Unknowable Room from Book 6, A Place to Hide from Book 7, Magic is Might from Book 7, The Deathly Hallows from Book 7, and Malfoy Manor from Book 7. And in every single one of those chapter sketches, Hermione is depicted as a white girl. Second, she is portrayed by Emma Watson in the movies as a medium-height, brown-haired, brown-eyed white girl. J.K. Rowling helped out as a consultant with the movies. Because only the first 4 books had been published at the time, she helped the producers with certain details of the story that would be vital to the movies later. This included telling Alan Rickman certain things to consider while playing the character of Snape. It also included approving the choices for how various characters would look, including Emma Watson as Hermione Granger. The movies aren't strictly canon, but if they are aided by Rowling, then certainly it shows at the very least that in her mind, Hermione was always white. Third, Rowling knew perfectly well when she wrote the books that she would be writing to largely a British audience, a nation that is 87% Caucasian. Throughout her book series, she is careful to develop her characters to fit the understanding of the audience. More simply, she specifies when a character isn't of British ancestry. In Book 1, she introduces us to the character of Dean Thomas and describes him as being black. In Book 4, she talks about African wizards being present at the Quidditch World Cup. In Book 5, Kingsley Shacklebolt is introduced as a bald black man. And just because she calls different wizards black or African in no way means that she is racist. Nor is it racist for her not to specify what race an individual is when they are white. She simply is writing to the audience of Great Britain and recognizes the ethnicities and demographics of her own country and what details she will need to include to make her story understandable. But this brings up an important point. Almost exclusively in the series, when she doesn't specify a character's race, that character is white. So naturally, nearly everyone who ever read the books imagined Hermione as being white. And although she never uses the phrase, Hermione is white, she does give us, as the audience, enough clues to determine her ethnicity and that she is in fact white. Hermione has bushy brown hair and brown eyes, but in The Prisoner of Azkaban we are given a line in the 21st chapter that essentially forces Hermione to be white. When Harry goes to rescue Buckbeak, it says, Hermione's white face was sticking out from behind a tree. And while yes, that is an expression to say someone's face is drained of blood and that they are afraid, you wouldn't say it about a black person. So essentially J.K. Rowling either doesn't know her own book series or is ignoring what she wrote just so that she could act compassionate to the black community. Which in and of itself isn't a bad thing, until you consider what else she wrote about Hermione in The Prisoner of Azkaban. In Chapter 4, The Leaky Cauldron, Harry meets up with his two best friends for the first time all summer. Ron has been away in Egypt spending time in the sun, and so apparently has Hermione, because Rowling says, from Harry's point of view, that Ron was, quote, incredibly freckly, and Hermione was looking, quote, very brown. This, of course, means that both of them, because they spent so much time outside, that they had been exposed to the sun. In context, there is no arguing with that point. When JK Rowling wrote it, what she was saying is that both of them had gotten plenty of sun during the summer. That is objectively what it means. However, I'm sure there are a few people out there who will try and convince themselves otherwise and say that when Harry thought of Hermione as very brown, that he was thinking of her skin color, her race. The problem with that line of thought is that by and large, black people don't tan much at all, and when they do, it isn't noticeable like it is for Caucasians. And that is a major problem for JK Rowling, because for Harry to think something like that about a black person who is his best friend is either incredibly stupid, that he wouldn't even get her nationality right, or it is incredibly racist for him to see his best friend and essentially think, wow, she looks even more brown than normal. So that either means that Harry himself is racist, or that J.K. Rowling, while writing him, was, and at some level, there is no difference between those two. So essentially, by trying to be politically correct and make Hermione black, J.K. Rowling inadvertently did something incredibly racist. Either that, or she is simply lying about Hermione's skin color, in which case, she should be willing to apologize to her fans about doing so. And the thing is, if you put all that aside, she did not make that statement in December to further the story or even to try and reach out to the black community. What J.K. Rowling has been trying to do since finishing the Harry Potter series is to maintain, or regain, that sense of importance she felt that she had while writing the book series. She had become a household name. She has hundreds of millions of fans. And she is now the richest woman in Great Britain. Yet that doesn't seem to be enough for her. She seems to crave the excitement of feeling admired, and so every few years she seems to come out with a stupid announcement about the Harry Potter book series just to try and keep things interesting, like the announcement that Dumbledore was actually gay with Grindelwald, or the idea that Harry and Hermione were going to be a couple instead of Harry and Ginny. And this latest announcement about Hermione being black is no different. It has nothing to do with furthering the book or being politically correct. It is all for her to gain more attention and notoriety, a chance for her to say something controversial enough to be in the news again. And I'm saying all this as one of the biggest Harry Potter fans I know. I've read the book series 9 times. I own all the movies. At one point in my teenage years, I even had every last Harry Potter spell memorized so that I could not only say the name, but tell you what the spell did. I love the books, and personally I think they are the best teen novels ever written. And J.K. Rowling is an inspiration to me despite all this. But the point is, this incident of trying to claim that Hermione is black, and might always have been from the beginning, has essentially come out making her look quite racist. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I am not racist. I am more annoyed that Rowling is simply changing her story after the fact to get publicity. I would have had no problem with a black Hermione if that is what she actually had been from the start. But she wasn't. She was white from the beginning. And even Rowling's own words show that. So essentially, if you are wanting Hermione to be black, then stop a moment and comprehend that you are supporting the racist comments of a racist woman. So if you are part of the Harry Potter fan base who thinks that a black Hermione is a strange choice and that it doesn't fit with Harry Potter canon, then you can rest assured, knowing that you aren't racist, and that being a die-hard Harry Potter fan in no way means that you need to support every random idea that J.K. Rowling comes up with.